The families I work with who love Miami, they all had something in common. It wasn't their budget, it wasn't the neighborhood they picked. It was that they understood 6 things about this city before they even got here. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Here's what I noticed about helping families in the same situation. Most of what you find online about moving to Miami falls into one of 2 buckets. Either it's a highlight reel, the weather, the lifestyle, everything looks incredible, or it's a warning label about insurance, traffic, and the cost of everything here. Neither one actually prepares you, because the real experience of living here isn't one or the other, it's both. And the families who land well aren't the ones who heard only the good stuff or only the hard stuff. They're the ones who had the full picture and made the move anyways, because the full picture made sense for their life. And that's what these 6 things are, the full picture. The version I'd give you if we were sitting across from each other and you asked me, what do I actually need to know? And really quick, if this is your first time here, my name is Roque Castro. I work with families buying and relocating to homes throughout Miami. And on this channel, we cover what that move actually looks like from somebody who lives and works here every day. If you're working through this decision and want to talk it through, my contact information is in the description below. Here's the thing, most families think they've done enough research because they spend a lot of time Googling best neighborhoods or asking ChatGPT about the best places to live in Miami. And I get it, you've read the articles, you've watched the videos, you've visited, maybe more than once. You've even run the numbers, but there's a difference between reading about a city and actually understanding how it works. And that gap between what you can Google and what you only learn by being here, that's where most of the surprises come from. These 6 things live in that gap. They're the stuff that doesn't show up until you're here unless somebody tells you first. So here's the shift. Most people evaluate Miami like a vacation. The weather, the aesthetics, the tax savings, all of that matters. But that's the surface. What actually determines whether this move works is what your regular week looks like once you're actually here. What a Tuesday feels like. What does your commute look like? What are you doing on a random Saturday when there's no agenda? That's what these 6 things are really about. So first, the outdoor life here is real. This is the thing that surprises people in the best of ways. And not the beach, honestly. Most families stop going to the beach regularly after the first year. The real outdoor life is different. It's coffee outside in January, kids at the park after school in February, a Saturday morning ride along the old Cutler Trail under a canopy that feels like it's going on forever. Your whole week feels different when weather stops being something you plan around. Families who've been here 2 or 3 years, that's the thing they always say surprised them the most. Not the house, not the neighborhood. Just the fact that they're outside doing normal stuff, not special stuff, almost every day of the year. Number 2, learn how the city is laid out. Miami is a big city and it's spread out. It runs on corridors, a few major roads that connect everything. This one heading south, Coral Gables, South Miami, Pinecrest, Palmetto Bay. The 836 running east and west, and 95 running north and south. Once you understand how these corridors work, the city starts to make sense. You stop wondering why a neighborhood that looks close on a map feels far in real life. You start seeing why some families gravitate south and others stay closer in. Honestly, before you tour a single home, just spend an afternoon driving these roads. That one drive will tell you more about where you belong than a month on Zillow. Number 3, know the full monthly number. I'll keep this one brief because I've done a full video on it. But the short version, the purchase price is only one piece of what you actually pay every month. Insurance, homeowners, flood, and car. The roof age rule, where some insurers won't cover a home with an older roof. And the reality of maintaining a home in this climate. Those all add up. The families who feel good about their finances here are the ones who ran the full number before they ever commit. Not after, not during, before. It didn't scare them off, it actually gave them a plan. And a plan feels very different from a surprise. If you want the full breakdown, I'll link my cost video in the description. Now, number 4. The culture and energy are why people stay. This doesn't get talked about enough. Miami's Latin and Caribbean roots aren't just background. It's the food, the music, how people talk to each other, the whole feel of actually being here. Walk up to a ventanita for a cafecito on Tuesday morning. Sit outside on Giralda Plaza on a Thursday evening. Hit the Coconut Groves Farmers Market on a Saturday. There's something about being here that you just don't get until you've lived it for a while. It's warm, and I don't mean the weather. It's social, it's international in a way most American cities aren't even close to. The families who lean into it, who try the restaurants, pick up a paddle racket, show up to the neighborhood stuff, those are the ones who stopped saying, we moved to Miami, and just started saying, we live in Miami. Number 5, your neighborhood is your social life. And I'll be direct about this one. Miami is a big, spread out, somewhat transient city. At the city level, building a social network takes effort. People just cycle through. The pace is different from a tight-knit northeastern town where your neighbors become your friends automatically. But at the neighborhood level, it's a different story. Coconut Grove has its own social gravity. You show up at Green Street on a weekday morning and the sidewalk tables are full of people who live there. Coral Gables has a rhythm, the dining scene on Giralda, the weekend routines, the sports leagues. Palmetto Bay and Pinecrest have their own family networks built around parks and youth activities. The families who make friends the quickest aren't trying to meet people all over the city. They just get involved where they actually live. The friendships come from being around. And I'm curious, which one of these hit closest to home for you? Drop it in the comments. I read everything and I'll answer you directly. Now the last one, number 6. Give it a full year. And this one matters more than people expect. The first summer, it's gonna feel different, especially if you've never lived in subtropical humidity. The first February in season, traffic will be heavier than anything you've researched. The first time a hurricane watch shows up on your phone, it'll get your attention. All of that is real and all of it normalizes. By the second summer, you've adjusted to the rhythm. Early mornings, indoor stretch in the afternoon, evenings outside. By the second season, you know which roads to avoid and which weekends to stay local. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, probably on a random weeknight, when you're sitting outside, temperature is right, kids are playing, and it's January, you'll look around and think, yeah, this is why we came. The families who end up loving it here are the ones who didn't panic when it got hard. They just gave it time, and that's the difference. I had a family relocate from the Midwest about 2 years ago. Both professionals, 2 kids, they'd done everything right on paper. Finances were solid, they'd visited 3 times, chose a neighborhood in the Southern Corridor. Month 3, the wife called. She was frustrated. I told her, well, I'll tell you. That's only month 3. It's normal. That's the adjustment, not the destination. She texted me back a few months later, different voice entirely. She'd found a group through her daughter's activities. She and her husband had gotten into paddle, and she laughed about it, said she'd never thought she'd be a racket sports person. I didn't love it right away, but I love it now, and I can't imagine ever going back. That's the pattern, not instant, but real. I'll keep this one short, but it's worth saying. Miami isn't the right fit for every family. If what you genuinely need is changing seasons, mountain backdrop, and open land, this isn't the landscape. If the financial picture only works when you stretch, the carrying costs here tend to compound that pressure. But for families who come in knowing what to expect, with their finances in order and a real picture of what they want their life to look like, this is a great city. And it gives back more than what most people realize until they've been here a while. Families who love it here didn't get lucky, they got informed. These 6 things aren't secrets. They're just the stuff that nobody thinks to tell you before you actually get here. Know them before going in, and the whole process gets a lot easier. If you're seriously working through this decision and want to talk through what it looks like for your specific situation, I'm easy to reach. Contact info is down in the description below. No pitch, just a real conversation to see if this actually works for you and your family. And if the cost side of this is what you want to dig into next, I did a full breakdown called The True Cost of Living in Miami in 2026. That one goes deep on every line item most families don't see coming. I'll link it right here. Thanks for watching. Until next time.